MU.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's Holy Thursday. Holy Thursday, Batman. We have got quite a show lined up for you. I've been preparing for it since wee hours of the morning. Michael Charbon is going to be joining us. Let me see. Blaine Holt, General Blaine Holt, going to be joining us later in the show to talk about Iran and the president's speech last night, and Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor, to talk about this birthright citizen stuff that's going on before the Supreme Court. I have no idea what a gigantic scam it is that we have baby mills in this country where foreign enemies of our state come to the United States to give birth and claim citizenship, and later in life would return here as citizens, especially from China. So yeah, there's that. I mean, it's like, wow. Of all the things you have to worry about now, there are a lot of ways that we've considered how we'd be attacked over the years. We've always been concerned about a conventional attack on U.S. soil, which has never happened. But no, they found a way around it. This and radical Islam and all of that. So we've got a fight. We've got a fight ahead of us. Donald Trump was on last night delivering a stellar address, by the way. And I got some things that I want to play from him later in the show that are just fantastic. He did the prayer breakfast for Easter. And he was just, there's never been a president like him, being able to improvise, being able to connect the way he does. Sorry, it sucks to be you Democrats, but he's really a remarkable human being. Here he is last night talking about how we are doing in Iran.
As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury.
Yeah, the Democrats started off day one saying it was a disaster when we nuked the Ayatollah on day one, and then they've called it everything, and then now they're calling it a quagmire. But no, it's not the case.
Targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield.
Yeah, big time.
Victories like few people have ever seen before.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tonight, Iran's navy is gone. Their
under the sea.
Air force is in ruins.
Totally.
Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead.
You see, the truth is becoming too big for the leftist media and Democrats to cover up.
Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed.
Other than that, they're totally kicking our butts.
Their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before.
Unbelievable, actually, when you think about it. You think about the history we're witnessing, and you really should ignore the noise from the left and take it all in, just relish it, because some amazing things are happening right now. Some amazing things are happening, and I believe that God is kind of working through us at this time in history. Our 250th year as a country. Donald Trump just happens to be the president. Yesterday, Gen Z and millennials, Apollo launched. I didn't realize that the Artemis was the largest rocket America has ever sent into space. It was larger than the Saturn V, and the Saturn V is unbelievable. And by the way, they got into space and the toilet stopped working. Can you imagine 10 days? This is why they're going to have to put a Buccee's on the moon. I think they're going to have to put a Buccee's on the moon. So, they'll have a bathroom you can use, but you probably want to make a purchase while you're there. So it's a remarkable year. It is really a remarkable year. Think about the things that are happening right now this year. Maduro is out of Venezuela. Cuba is teetering on the brink. You've got freedom spreading around the world in places like Poland and Central and South America. A lot of countries doing this, and Gen Z is going back to church. is kind of a big deal. All of this is happening. All of this is happening right now, and we need to focus on the positive. Like I said, overwhelm the left with patriotism and joy, and then I'm going to just throw faith in there as well. I'm going to throw faith in there as well because it's a major, major thing. Listen to this now. I mean, right now we're 4 weeks and a few days, 4.5 weeks into the largest military campaign, the most successful military campaign with the least amount of casualties in probably world history. It's remarkable. The Iranian military, if taken on by any other country in the world, would still be fighting. No matter who it was. If it was Russia, it'd be as bad as Ukraine right now. If it were China, I don't know. But I'll tell you right now, nobody in the world, no country in the world has the force, professionalism, and hardware that we do. And so what we're doing right now is just absolutely extraordinary. And we should be absolutely proud of our men and women in uniform. And think about where we were a few years ago when you had, Lloyd Austin in charge. And they were they were more concerned about white privilege and DEI than this. And there were people in the upper echelons of the military who were born men who were wearing dresses in duty. Like, okay, sure, really? And they were running commercials for in recruitment that failed, featuring a girl who had 2 moms. Like, that was really important to the defense of our country. And then Donald Trump became the president. Then Pete Hegseth became our Secretary of War. They call it the Department of War. And now what we're doing, we're kicking butt. We're seriously kicking butt. And I want you to listen to this litany of campaigns we've been involved in and how long they've taken us.
And it's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days.
Wow.
Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East. But
yeah, they were. They were going to be the North Korea of the Middle East. And Europe finally kind of figured it out with the launch of the missile that landed in Diego Garcia. Europe suddenly got a little sphincter tightening exercise, I'll just put it that way, because at that moment, Europe realized that Iran could launch a nuke at Paris and London. They could, and they had enough nuclear material for 10 or 11 warheads. Okay, wow. Guess what? Their stockpile is now depleted.
They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible, and they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out.
Long-range missiles.
That no one would really dare stop them.
They lied about it.
And they're raced for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before.
And here he is once again with a great deal of forethought, preventing what could have been an absolute humanitarian disaster. All the while, all of the headwinds blowing in his face, all of the media negative, all of the Democratic Party negative, all of the EU negative, all of NATO negative, not helping us at all. But we did it. We did it. Here is the president talking about it, and like I said, I'm just amazed because we not only have the first president in probably since Reagan for me, who is doing what we asked him to do, but even more so, doing everything he promised us he would do without fail. And the Democrats are over here acting surprised. We're not. We voted for this.
Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them.
Yeah.
My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement.
And there's no doubt about that now, MS now.
For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer.
Well, why'd you do this then if you destroyed it? No. They started rebuilding right away, you see, at lightning speed.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed
pretty cool.
Magnificently.
They did.
We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons.
Yeah. It would have been fine if we had completely annihilated and they stopped. But you see, they didn't stop. And then they made the mistake of launching a missile 2,000 miles to Diego Garcia and showed the world their capability and their intention. Here's the president talking about the ones we have lost. He did not go to Andrews, Joint Base Andrews, and look at his watch.
These core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight.
Amen.
To prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I have traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission.
100%. 100%. Isn't it nice to have a president who is allowing America to live its full potential? And now the country of Iran and the people of Iran and Persia will be able to live their full potential. Same goes with Cuba, hopefully soon. Same goes with Venezuela soon. These are magnificent times. We have evil back on its heels. We do. But evil still wants to lash out and is still fighting us majorly. I've got some more from the president on the other side of the break. Also, lots of other news to get to. Your phone calls are welcome here at 800-922-6680 on this Holy Thursday edition of the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. This fall, you're invited to experience Washington, D.C. in a truly unforgettable way with me, Rob Carson, and other Newsmax listeners. Imagine strolling through our nation's capital as America celebrates 250 years and seeing history come alive with an expert guide. Together, we'll tour the White House Visitor Center, step into the halls of democracy with a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol building, visit Arlington National Cemetery and the changing of the guard, stand in awe before the towering figure of President Abraham Lincoln, and take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. Our adventure includes premium hotel accommodations for 4 nights in the heart of D.C., in addition to 6 meals, ground transportation guides, and gratuities. Space is limited, so don't wait. Visit travelwithrob.net to book your D.C. getaway today, or give our friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131, or travelwithrob.net.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury.
Yeah.
Targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
They are.
Iran.
Not anymore.
In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before.
Yeah.
Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins.
They are, and we are right on schedule, by the way. I'm not sure if you remember this or not, but actually you do. 4 to 6 weeks is what Donald Trump said. And the reason why he said that is because his military commander said, "Sir, we can do this in 4 to 6 weeks." And Donald Trump said, "We got to do it."
I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that remarkable? Because we were in Afghanistan for 20 years, and Joe Biden, on the anniversary of 9/11, unceremoniously removed us from there, leaving $85 billion worth of military hardware in control by the Taliban. And basically, we went back to September the 10th, 2001.
We've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly.
Wow. So we are right on time, people. Isn't it nice to know we got a president like this? Jim Gossett, Rob Carson Show.
Right on time. War efforts right on time.
Kicking butt.
In fact, ahead of time.
Come on now.
That's what we are.
Majorly.
Their navy's lost.
By.
They paid a heavy cost.
See, he said this was going to happen.
The Ayatollah's tossed.
Yeah.
We've come quite far.
They had a goal to reach, and they did it, yeah.
Democrats are mad that Epic Fury's working. They hate Israel.
Yeah, they do.
And love Iran.
They do. They actually do. It's weird.
But we're ahead of time.
Come on.
So far ahead of time.
Yeah.
That the mullahs, they are shaking. Khomeini, he is quaking.
Standards.
He knows that he's one marked man.
Unbelievable. Cardboard Ayatollah is dead, by the way. You know why I know the cardboard Ayatollah is dead? Because they put up a cardboard Ayatollah, and nobody's heard from him since. So I'm thinking he's probably dead. There you go. All right, so that's the good news. Here's John Solomon, by the way, putting into perspective what the United States, you know, I said that isn't it nice to have Superman back? Because the United States has been kind of like Superman. The Superman myth is kind of interesting and very much like the United States of America sweeping in. And there have been times where, for instance, NATO and the EU took Superman, the United States, for granted, and then the United States retreated with Joe Biden and Barack Obama, and the world fell into chaos. And then Superman came back. Listen to John Solomon.
There's a very powerful moment that occurred in this war that was an incredible moment of shame for Europe.
They never expected this, and it proved every reason why Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu did this.
Europe was constantly impugning the United States, like Iran can't menace Europe. They're never going to try menacing Europe. And then Iran filed a medium-range ballistic missile that hit the Diego Garcia, which means it could hit half of the European capitals.
Yeah.
So Europe's like, oh, guess President Trump was right.
Yeah.
I think President Trump scored more in Europe after that one missile was fired at the Diego Garcia base, because his predictions came true once again, and that he was fighting for more than the United States. He wasn't just fighting the Israel's war, like some people have said. Hey, Europe was that threatened. They had a capability to strike Europe. And, oh, by the way, they shot at one of your bases.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people remember this. We reported, but almost no one else did.
Listen to this.
3 IRGC, ROTC members. They're Radical Guard. They were found on our soil in January. We deported them in January.
Wow.
I'm telling you this right now. IRGC people don't come to January vacation here to go to Disney World. They were here for nefarious purposes. 2, Iran was trying to get a hypersonic missile from China. 3, they did buy Stinger missiles from Russia.
Yeah.
Those are 3 escalations that involve U.S. security, not Israel security, not someone else's. I think the president will explain why those things mattered, things like that you haven't heard before in the mainstream media.
There were IRCG members here in the United States of America, and Joe Biden opened the southern border, not screening anyone for terror, for criminal activity, disease, anything. Just opened our southern border to destroy America. They did. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. By the way, I was just looking at the brochure from the trip to Washington, D.C. with me that Cruise and Travel has put together. It's really cool. If you go to travelwithrob.net, just click on there. You're going to get this cool brochure. You'll just have to put your email in there or whatever, and they will send it to you. And I'm going to tell you, this is kaboom. This is like wow. Premium hotel accommodations, all ground transportation, expert guide, 6 meals, 4 breakfasts, 2 dinners, gratuities for drivers, local guides, tour director, taxes and fees. It's going to be the best time ever. And again, it's coming up October 25th through the 29th. It's our 250th year. This is going to be one of the greatest years the world has ever seen and America has ever seen. And I hope you'll come and join me here to celebrate it. 800-383-3131, 800-383-3131, or go to travelwithrob.net and get the brochure because you're going to be blown away. Talk it over with your SIG or come by yourself, because it's going to be amazing. This is one time in history that we can be together for the 250th anniversary of our country. Let's take a break and come back. Michael Charbon of the Charbon Report joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must deport before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. When you're a man who calls himself a girl, it can be a bonus. When you compete with women, you have to hide. Ooh, that pair of cojones. I can cycle against the girls, that's my choice. I can steal their medals with this manly voice, 'cause the left makes me feel. The left makes me feel. The left makes me feel like a transgender woman. When I compete with females, I'm the one that's feared, 'cause I'm the only person in the race with a beard. But somehow I feel the left makes me feel. They make me feel like a transgender woman.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. Winter is over. I'm putting away the layers, the vests, the tweed jackets, getting out the shorts and the light linen shirts. Quince.com is where I refresh my wardrobe and pare down the old, tired, lower quality stuff that I've held on for years. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen and their insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, breathable, comfortable, basically the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined, so you look put together without trying too hard. The best part is their prices are 50 to 60% less than similar brands.
Oh, beauty, go.
Take off
To the great white north,
Take off. It's a beauty way to go. Take off to the great white north.
By the way, this is not only the theme song for Michael Charbon, it is the theme song for our Thursday at 12:35 Eastern Standard Time benchmark. From here on out, Michael Charbon, welcome to the show.
You know what? It's a pleasure to be on a nationally syndicated radio show and streaming on Newsmax, the Rob Carson Show. It's a real honor.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Michael. And I was talking to my producer, Ken, just for all of you listening. A benchmark is a big deal on a radio program. You have benchmarks, which is something they're hard to come up with. They take sometimes years to decide that you want to use it, what works. We decided, my producer, Ken Redneck MacGyver, and our good friend, Ralph, who's in charge, Ralph Renzi, and we decided that Michael Charbon has to be a regular feature. So there you go, brother. Boom. Don't let us down.
Man.
Don't let us down. We're depending on you.
The Birthright citizenship. I have the solution.
What?
I have the solution.
What?
Every woman under the age of 50 has to take a pregnancy test before they fly. Doesn't that sound like a democratic solution?
That sounds like a great idea. I just want you to know that being a benchmark on the Rob Carson Show does not give you birthright citizenship in America. I'm sorry to tell you that. It doesn't do that. But I got a couple things I want to play for you. First and foremost, I don't know if you guys knew this, the audience. I want to play a little soundbite from you. The Canadian government tried to do gun confiscation.
The declaration period for firearms owners is scheduled to end next week. So far, only 2.5% of the estimated 2 million affected firearms have been declared, and 98% of firearms owners haven't made a declaration. So if they're not declaring by next week, what's your plan, Minister?
The RCMP and other agencies will be available throughout the spring and the summer to do the collection.
Okay, this gave me hope for Canada, Michael. This gave me all the woke nonsense of your stupid government up there. That gun owners told the leftists in Canada, stick it, you're not getting my gun. 98% of the time. Kaboom.
So listen, the police forces and the RCMP regiments across Canada say, nope, not doing it.
Good.
The government said they're going to spend like $67 million. They figure it's going to cost $2 billion.
Yeah.
They spent already $67 million, and they haven't confiscated, probably a couple of guns. See, the problem is here, the majority of guns that are committed in crimes, unfortunately, come from the United States.
Sure.
A $500 worth gun in the States is worth $5,000 in Canada.
Yeah.
A bullet is worth like $120.
Yeah.
You can't own a handgun unless, first of all, you pass the test. You are a member of a gun club. You have a pistol lock. You have a locked suitcase that the gun is put in, and a safe to put the suitcase in.
Stupid.
So it's not these people who are doing the crime.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the same way with anything. And, they're trying to do the same crap here in the state of Virginia. It's going to be challenged. Harmeet Dillon has already said the leftist governor of Virginia is not going to stand a snowball's chance in hell with regard to the new gun restrictions here in Virginia. But I think it's really great. Here's something else from this big NDP, New Democrat Party. I'll just call it a daycare center.
The point of privilege on microphone 1, then we'll go to microphone 3. Go ahead, delegate.
Yes. Hello. I was standing here with my gender equity card before you called on the previous speaker. That's my point of privilege that I would like to raise.
I will explain the speaking order, which is fixed, that I cannot amend, which is the pro-con rotation. You can move yourself up a line that you're standing.
Okay, so the non-binary, whatever the hell that was, looked like a Nazi from Central Casting who was hosting it. And then everybody stepped up with their gender equity card, which explains how many different tiers of victimhood they have. So if you're the non-binary, native Canadian amputee lesbian, you get that's the speaking order. My God, did the rest of Canada laugh at this?
You know, Rob Carson, you could be put in jail in the UK for what you just said.
I know.
You realize in the UK, darling, that's the hate speech. But let's just come and be embarrassed with me to say that you look at that and you say, oh my goodness, is that really necessarily the most, how should one say, representative of what you're trying to gain politically, to have people join your party? No. I would say the majority of Canadians are embarrassed of that clip that you showed, and you would think that we're past all this woke business, but unfortunately, I think it's like we know that cows have two guts, and we have to regurgitate stuff again. So I think there's just a second chew happening here.
Well, it reminds me of Lord of the Flies meets Animal Farm. That's what it is. It's a bunch of children who are just, honestly, they are children. They are just stupid children. And I was also noticing about the No Kings protests. Again, very similar, unhinged, mentally unwell people. Do you guys have the game show? Let's Make a Deal up there, where everybody gets dressed up in costume and goes to play the game show. Yeah, okay. So this looks like kind of a Nazi communist version of the Let's Make a Deal audience. That's what your NDP and that's what No Kings look like. You can't take these people seriously. You got some people dressed up in frog costumes and then hippo costumes, and you ask the guy in the hippo costume, and he wants to be serious. I'm like, you idiot, you're wearing a pink hippo costume. I mean, are you out of your friggin' mind? These people have to be driven into the dustbin of history, Michael Charbon.
Yeah, but you know what happens? You can tell these people have full-time jobs and are going to school because they can sit there and play dress-up. And don't forget the furry friends. You have to have the furry friends.
The furry friend. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the furry friends, where you put a fake tail and a pair of ears, like that lovely lady from California who had that man walking as a dog beside her as she was dressed up in that leather-bound kind of, it looked like a bad sausage had gone rancid.
You know, though, Michael, this, and I mentioned this the other day because there was a No Kings protest, and this jackweed, this old guy with a beard, had put on red lipstick because apparently German women wore red lipstick to protest Adolf Hitler. So he said, I'm going to wear red lipstick, and it looked like you put red lipstick on a cow's anus on this guy. And I said, you know what this is? This is just your excuse to make your kink public. That's all it is. That's what the furry thing is. That's what wearing makeup is all about. That's what dressing up like a woman is all about. Ask Christine Ohm's husband, for God's sake. That's a good portion of all of this. Would you agree?
You know what? In the 1950s, Rob,
Yes.
you know what? They put these people in what they called mental institutions,
Yes.
asylums,
Yes.
and they'd be giving them heavy medication
Yes.
and making them listen to Democratic speeches like Kamala Harris talking about drinking.
Yeah.
That's what they would do.
It is an asylum. I know that it's going to lose. I know this movement is going to lose in Canada. I know this movement is going to lose in America. I like to say that that conservative comedy is ascending because the left cannot be taken seriously anymore, and they're just committing their own suicide. I've got much more to come up here with Michael Charbon, and Michael Charbon, regular on this segment of the radio program on Thursday. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
FM in Harford County.
Wow, Canada's going nuts. That is actually at the Canadian Music Awards last week. Michael, I did some digging for your segment today, Michael Charbon. Did you see this performer? Her name is Tagak, I guess, Tanya Tagak, and she did a song called Colonizer, which she basically says the word colonizer 6 times, oh, you're guilty 3 times, then repeatedly says colonizer 10 more times, then repeats you colonizer 12 more times. She's a Canadian throat singer.
Yeah, that what Canada calls the Juno Award.
The Junos.
Which is supposed to award our best musicians.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the show was unwatchable. And then after that, you have Prime Minister Carney comes off and looks like a little guy in a suit who missed the bus from the school going home.
You know, you just watch them commit suicide themselves, kind of like the Oscars this year. There's a lot of other stuff going on in Canada as we speak. You guys are also kind of suffering from the birthright citizenship thing as well, right?
Yeah, so like in British Columbia, this is actually pretty scary. 22 to 23% of all the births in British Columbia in this one hospital were of foreign people.
Wow.
It was like $6.2 million, and $1 million is still laying outright. Yeah. And if you think that the UK and, Germany, Austria, France, and Singapore, all those countries don't allow it, and you know ones that are really hate against that, really hate against birthright citizenship? African nations, China, and India.
Yeah.
So isn't that interesting? Yeah. If you were to look at the statistics, I mean, you heard about those, they've got these now planting births where this guy supposedly from China has given birth to surrogates in the United States of about 100 women.
Yeah.
So these are the countries that are the worst offenders. And I think that the stat was 1 in 10 in the United States of foreign citizens. I mean, that's 9%. In 2023, listen to this stat, 327,000 mothers were non-residents. That's 9% of all the births you had in the U.S.
This is the invasion. This is the invasion that we feared. You know, we always expect a conventional attack, but we are being and have been invaded not only the last 4 years, but also with birthright citizenship right under our noses. Right under our noses, honestly, and this has got to stop. I don't know what the Supreme Court is going to do with Donald Trump's executive order ending it, but clearly he needed to do the executive order. Hard to say. I've heard they're leaning toward it for some ungodly friggin' reason, Michael. I mean, it is utterly ridiculous that we have to endure this sort of self-destructive policy while we can't do anything as citizens.
There was a speech that Donald Trump did in his 2015 election. And you've probably got, because I know the amount of show prep you do, you scan everything, but there was a piece that he said, and he talked about the insanity of who would think that someone could get on a plane, give birth, and then automatically have citizenship.
Ridiculous.
That doesn't exist anywhere else. Why does America do that? And now the ACLU and the, what was the other one, the NAACP, all of them are on MSNBC saying, oh my goodness, it's restricting this, it's depleting what America stood for. You know, any person in the world would give their left, whatever, to be able to come to America and pursue the American dream, because it doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are, or how much money you have. You can come to America if you want to work. You can make yourself a success and be rich. Nowhere else in any other country.
Yeah, and by the way, this is all about a fealty to the United States of America. These are people who do not love America. They do not want to assimilate to America. They have allegiance to a foreign power, and they're sowing their seeds in our country. It's utterly, utterly ridiculous. Let's move on to some other things here. Canadian ban on U.S. booze. What's going on with this?
Yeah, so when Mr. Trump decided to put all those big tariffs on it, in Canada we have a nationalized liquor control board, particularly in Ontario. Mm-hmm. So Ontario, the province of Ontario, is the largest single purchaser of liquor in the world.
Yes.
So when they buy rum for all of Ontario. And so what they did was, in protest to the American tariffs, they took all American booze, particularly Kentucky bourbon and several other spirits, off the shelves. Now the United States has said that it actually contravenes the Kuzma agreement, which basically covers 85% of all the stuff that Canada sends over to the States. So they're kind of making a little disturbance with this. This was a reactionary point from Canadians to say that they were ticked off.
Well, by the way, also, the Alberta separation is on the ballot. How do you suppose that's going to end up?
So they needed 178,000 votes to be able to put the separation element on the election. There's 5 million people that live in Alberta, and they got those votes. So basically what it is doing, it is putting a question on the ballot that says, do you want to separate? And what Daniel Smith has said, it's not a real separation where it's an independent country. They want to be able to have certain autonomy. Don't forget, Alberta is the Texas of Canada, if you wish. And they pay more fees to Ottawa than many of the other provinces, and to a certain extent feel that their immigration policy has negatively affected them, that the Liberals did, and the carbon tax. So they're a little ticked. So they need to be able to take and be taken care of, and hopefully Carney can go there and mend some fences, sing Kumbaya, and have some throat singing competition.
There you go. Now, one other thing you mentioned, you've been part of this TV show in Canada, which is a Canadian version of Cops.
Correct. It's called Battle Against Crime. I shot this about 20 years ago, and at the time it was quite innovative because Cops had just come on the air. And I spent 7.5 months in the backseat of police cars right across Canada from Vancouver to Halifax. And I will tell you, Rob, if you see the way people treat police officers, the officer chest cams have been a blessing because we as people have the ability to see how these people react. And the reason why I bring this up is every time I turn on X or something, I'm looking for one more of your posts. I hope your bed is nice and smooth. And
Yes,
you're a
it
great
is.
chef.
It is, yes. My ghost bed.
But the deal is, I watch these people say, I want to speak to your supervisor. He says, get out of the car. You have no license. It's suspended. I can't believe people actually think that a cop is not going to force you to get out of your car. What is the sensibility with it? Can you explain that to me? It's an American thing.
I have no idea. It's just the death of civility, I would call it. We got to wrap things up, though, Michael. That's called Battle Against Crime. And one other person who spent 7 months in the back of a police car, George Floyd, actually. Michael Charbon, where can people find your glorious work and your show, my friend?
Well, my glorious work, I'm on the John Glasgow show every weekend on Newsmax at just before 11 o'clock. Also, michaelacharbon.com, and you can go to my YouTube channel, The Charbon Report. And Rob Carson, thank you to you and your great listeners.
All right.
Appreciate the day.
God bless you, brother. We'll talk next week. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hi, guys. How are you? I'm pretty good. I could be better, but that's okay. The ghost beds are amazing, by the way. I mean, my ghost bed is amazing. I slept until 7 o'clock today. It was really nice. We got a new name here, Connie Carrier. Patriotic prayers are powerful. Absolutely 100%. All prayers are powerful. Vote for Orange Man. I like going to space. That's Amber. Hello, Amber's new too. What up? What up, Amber? Double O. Whatever. Is it double O or double Q? Double O. Amber double O. Good for you. Good for you. Glad to join it. Merlin Wizard 1000. Hello. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you here today. We got a lot of new people watching over on YouTube. I appreciate you. Been talking over on Rumble. Hello, Rumble. Good to see you guys. Dookie Bear and Easter's coming up and Carrie Corley and all that. I sent the kids an Easter basket yesterday. I did. My bed does not talk to me, but I love my bed. It's fantastic. I mean, really. And I'll just tell you, it was like $1,500, which is cheap compared to mattress box springs and whatever. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Perfect. Beautiful sleep. I switched sides last night just to switch sides and slept beautifully. Ghostbed.com/Carson. It's time for me to talk. I got to talk. What am I going to talk about next here? Hold on, guys. I got to talk. Oh, yeah. I want to do that next. All right. Here we go. Time for me to talk.
2.5 here.
Coming up next hour, we're going to talk about birthright citizenship, this industry that we didn't know about. I didn't know about it in our country, that so many people were going to these birthing centers, particularly in Hawaii, and giving birth on American soil so they could make their kids into citizens of the United States of America. It's a way to overthrow the government is what it is. It's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. The dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971. Gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. I know, $3,500 an ounce. My God. Fast forward to today, the U.S. dollar has lost 85% of its purchasing power. This is why homes now, like in 1971, you could buy a house for $5,000. Now you could start at $400,000, really. The average cost of a home in America is about $420,000. It used to be $240,000 before Joe Biden became the president. Printing money, that's what it did, folks. That's what it did. Gold has increased since 1971 by 12,000%. That's why central banks are buying it. That's why major firms like Vanguard and BlackRock own so much gold, and that's why you should consider diversifying your savings into physical gold with Birch Gold. But it starts with education. So what I would recommend, they got this new thing here. It's a Learn and Earn Precious Metals event, okay? So you can, it's a free online event, and it rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up, get free silver on your next purchase. Get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn, but you got to do it now because this event only goes through April the 30th, all right? Here's how you do it. You know the drill. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. The dollar lost its anchor in 1971. You don't have to lose yours. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. Today, we've got so much coming up. Nick Shirley on hospice fraud in California. More on this coming up. Also, Michael Schellenberger exposes that the U.S. aid and the CIA tried to do a coup against Donald Trump in his first presidency. Unbelievable. A third illegal alien murder in Northern Virginia under the dictatorship of Abigail Spamberger, among other things. That's all coming up on hour number 2, and, of course, General Blaine Holt as well. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It is Holy Thursday, and I wish you and yours a blessed Passover and Easter. Easter is super special this year. I think for all of us, the 250th anniversary of the birth of our nation. And there's a reason why Donald Trump is the president this year and why it didn't happen in 2020. And actually, the Democrats are going to live to regret it. So there you go. Anyway, welcome to the show. Much to get to this hour and for the rest of the show. Yesterday, they apparently did the same thing with the National Monument, the Washington Monument they did earlier this year. They projected the Saturn V rocket onto it taking off. It is something else because the Washington Monument's 460 feet high, and they put these projectors around it, and they took the Saturn V, which was the Apollo mission to the moon, and they put it on the side of the monument, so the monument looks like the Saturn V rocket. By the way, about the same height as the Saturn V rocket. It's real close. The Saturn V rocket is gigantic. And then they projected the launch of it on, I got it. You've never seen anything like it. You've never seen anything like it. I reposted on it today on my social media, on Twitter at Rob Carson Show. Benny Johnson posted the video. But it is, I'm going to tell you, I've never seen anything like it. They did a history of America on the Washington Monument that I went down to a couple months ago. It is breathtaking. It is such, I'm so proud of this country. I'm so glad to be a part of this country at this moment in history. And we were on the brink, and you know, there are a lot of forces of evil fighting us. But we're going to win. We're going to win. We've ushered in so much. We're flying to the moon again. This Artemis mission is remarkable. Chuck Schumer decided to make some sort of a stupid point about it. Good luck to our brave astronauts headed to the moon. The first crewed NASA mission to the moon in over 5 decades. Their journey is a testament to our incredible scientific capabilities and a reminder that we must invest in NASA with science writ large, not cuts. The problem is the big beautiful bill actually increased the budget of NASA by 24%. So there's that. And then also we created Space Force as well. So there you go. It's pretty cool. I'm going to play this. This is real funny. This is a BBC reporter in Florida at the takeoff of the Artemis. I didn't know the Artemis was bigger than the Saturn V. The Saturn V is, I went to, Cocoa Beach down there, Cape Canaveral. Here's something kind of interesting about it. They have this giant trough that leads to the launch pad for not only the launch of this rocket, the other rockets, the space shuttles. And what they have to do is they've got a 1 million-gallon reservoir water tank, and they have to empty it in seconds to damper the noise of the rocket launch. Now, it's still enough to knock you on your butt. But without that sound dampening, it would knock windows out of buildings 10 miles away. I'm not kidding. It's crazy how much noise this thing makes. And here is this British reporter who was just overwhelmed by the beauty of this amazing event. And this is Gen Z's Apollo. This is millennials' Apollo. It's remarkable.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Now,
oh.
She's standing miles away. Just keep that in mind. Miles away. Okay, ready?
Wow.
Miles away.
Oh my
The sound's
goodness.
just getting to her.
That is spectacular.
Just wait.
It's not just what you see and you hear as the rocket lifts off. You can actually feel the force of it through your body. This is the most powerful rocket that NASA has ever built.
That's miles away. America did that, baby. America did that. We stopped going to the moon 47 years ago. We played golf on it. This is why we got such a great dang country. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely amazing. But by the way, British BBC television, they decided to politicize it. I mean, this is just insufferable. But I'm going to go ahead and play it for you anyway, because you know what? We saved their butts a couple times last century, but I don't even know why we bother.
Reggie Ford doing a promo for Moral Maze, one of their shows.
Far
beyond previously. It can be quite sensible, but, they talked about the trip to the moon being raising troubling moral questions.
What would the trip to the moon raise troubling moral questions going further than any human being has ever gone into space.
Okay. With poverty, disease, there was climate crisis here on Earth.
Oh, the climate crisis, that doesn't exist.
They never stop a moment to propagandize. And should we be spending billions going to the moon?
Oh, yeah, they did the same damn thing, the idiots, They don't mind spending $18 billion on fraud in Minnesota, $500 billion on fraud in California. But whenever the United States want to spend money on something good, I don't know, like, freeing the people of Iran and Persia, and all that stuff, then all of a sudden, we could be spending that money on more programs that actually end up being fraudulent.
But also, do we risk repeating the mistakes of colonial expansion?
The mistakes of colonial expansion. There are no Native Americans or any other native species on the moon, as far as we know. So there's that. My God, you people are so uptight. You couldn't pull a needle out of your butts with a tractor. This is kind of funny, because the toilet didn't work, apparently. The toilet did not work on the Artemis mission right off the bat. Now, of all the systems that could fail, I'm not saying it's the number one thing, because, you kind of want to have the oxygen and the pressure and all that stuff going in there. But no toilet. Oh, my God. And here is actually the exchange when the toilet problem got solved on the Artemis.
A couple sync questions. First one, just because today has been a little bit jumbled, are we safe to assume...
Yeah, this is one of the astronauts saying, hey, can we use the toilet for God's sake?
...that any toilet non-use that's not per Optimus you would call up? We're thinking about calling you to see if...
Apparently they jiggled the handle. That's what they just jiggled the handle a little bit, and then it was fine.
We can use it for the next, 20 minutes or so before we sleep, and instead wanted to check that assumption.
Okay, can we use it? Because we really
Checking.
Yeah, here we go. Need to check this out real quick, because I'm really got my legs crossed up here in space, for God's sake. I really need to go right now. I just drank some water, made a mistake. I'm going to go to bed. Kind of like
NASA astronaut Christina Cook calling down to make sure that they are able to use the toilet. There are times during the mission when they are asked not to do so.
And Christina, you are good to use toilet all night.
And then came the largest sigh ever heard in space. That's actually what happened on the Artemis rocket as it heads to the moon. It's like 235,000 miles to the moon, by the way. And escape velocity from our planet is 17,000 miles per hour. You got to get something going 17,000 miles per hour to escape the gravity of the Earth. So imagine taking that thing, that's the thing the size of the Washington Monument, and making it go 17,000 miles an hour. And then I think it picks up speed in space to like 35,000 miles an hour. But again, you're 235,000 miles from the moon. And again, they're going to be up there for 10 days. And once again, America leads the entire world, and they watch. And Donald Trump is the president. And it's the 250th anniversary of America.
We're flying to the moon. Artemis is in the air.
Jim Gossett as the Prezi.
First time in half a century, we've sent a spacecraft there.
That's pretty cool.
In other words...
What's that?
We'll check it out.
Yeah, I might plant a flag there, play some golf, whatever.
In other words... We'll test Orion.
Yeah, we'll see what that Pink Floyd album is all about.
When we land on the moon, there will be a great debate.
Gonna open a Buccee's.
Should we make the moon the 51st U.S. state?
Why the heck not?
The Trump Hotel.
Nobody else has been there.
Up there will be.
I'll stay at the Trump Moon Hotel. Hell yeah.
A Trump Hotel.
Come on.
Mar-a-Lago North. Wait. And. C.
There you go. Moon-a-Lago. We'll call it Moon-a-Lago. Does that sound kind of cool? That's Jim Gossett, by the way. Is he a friggin' genius or what? Just go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. It is Easter week. And, the murder of Charlie Kirk. I remember the day it happened, and I I haven't seen the video. I'm not going to see the video. I don't want to see the video. But, that wasn't a turning point. That was the turning point. And that's why I think maybe, and I don't think I'm alone in feeling like this Easter, this Passover is really special this year. I told you how I found a Bible in my dry cleaning. I didn't have a Bible in my dry cleaning. I didn't have this little Bible in my dry cleaning. I go there and the lady says, no, this was in your pocket. I said, I don't recall ever seeing this. And then it was folded over. This page was during the printing process was folded over to speak to me at the time that I'm experiencing right now in my life. It's pretty remarkable. I hope that you are feeling this way. Because, collectively, we're unbelievably powerful, much more powerful than the forces of evil on this planet. The president spoke at a prayer breakfast. He had some really powerful things to say, but also just funny. Some of the funniest stuff he said. I'm going to share that on the other side of the break. Let's take that break down, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey, guys, it's Carson from Birch Gold. Think about this.
Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
on her, John, for the last several months really has been quite sour. And a lot of it has to do with the backlash over the handling of the Epstein investigation. The president doesn't like...
Yeah, we need somebody who's going to go in there and start arresting some damn people and indicting some damn people. I'm sick and damn tired of it, to be quite honest. And I don't think it's because she's a woman. I just think maybe she's the wrong person for the job, to be quite honest. I want to see people go to friggin' jail. I want to see politicians go to jail. I want to see them go to jail for all of the fraud in Minnesota. I want to see Tim Wurtz removed from office in handcuffs from the mansion up there. I want to see Keith Ellispin spend the rest of his life in jail. I want Ilhan Omar denaturalized and deported. That's what I want to see. I'm bloody well sick and damn tired of this nonsense. We waited for years for this. We have waited for this. They were afraid, they told us we couldn't use the word retribution because, retribution, it's accountability. But by God, we've been waiting for accountability for malfeasance, for the abuses and usurpations that we suffered over the last decade. And just get your ass in gear, woman. Honestly, sorry, I hate to put it that way. Get it in gear. We don't have time to mess around. We don't have time for, as my dad used to say, pussyfooting around. So Lee Zeldin, I guess, is the guy. He's done a really good job as the EPA guy. I don't know. What do you think of Lee Zeldin? I think he's great. But we need somebody in there with literal and doesn't have to be literal, but certainly figurative cojones. Right? Wouldn't you say? Isn't it about time that our Justice Department actually delivered justice? Instead of going after people who aren't, committing things. Like for instance, Michael Schellenberger did an interview the other day with Chris Cuomo, of all people. And the FBI, not the FBI, the CIA and USAID. The reason why USAID doesn't exist anymore is because they did crap like this.
USAID effectively created this organization called the Organized Crime and Corruption Research Project, Reporting Project, OCCRP, which nobody's heard of, but it teams up with well-known news media companies around the world. We know that it would not exist had it not rerouted a State Department grant from its Narcotics Enforcement Division through USAID, and that USAID can sign off on all of the senior, has to sign off, has a requirement to sign off on all the senior staff and on the work plan. We also know that it did the foundational research that was essential to bringing the impeachment case against Trump in December of 2019.
Yeah, USAID and the CIA created the Trump impeachment at the beginning of his term, and they paid for it.
But I think what's so interesting here is that this is an organization that's behind it, that's funded by USAID, that would not exist without USAID, engaging in what I think you have to consider to be domestic politics, which is absolutely forbidden.
Yeah.
It's not really an economic development agency. I think people misunderstand that part. No. It's really about soft power.
Yes.
It's about establishing the power of the United States in like an aggressive way, including in regime change. The head of this group
in the United States, it was a bloody coup.
OCCRP actually brags of helping to change the governments in 4 or 5 different countries.
Yeah.
Actually brags of the regime change. So this looks like regime change tactics that the CIA and USAID had done abroad being brought back home against Donald Trump.
Unbelievable. These are the enemies of the people. These people need to go after the people who did this.
I think if you look back retrospectively, it's a pretty thin case for impeachment.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be high crimes and misdemeanors. So then you have to ask, well, where does it come from? And when you see that the 2 main organizations behind it are the CIA and USAID, which is basically considered a front face.
Yeah. Our country, our government was the enemy of the people. They went after Donald Trump. They went after us. And people need to go to jail. So Pam Bondi, bye. See ya. I mean, good luck. Have a wonderful life. Let's get somebody in there to put some people in jail, damn it. Here is the President of the United States at the prayer breakfast for Easter. I want you to listen.
On Good Friday, the Son of God was nailed to the cross, crucified, and he died for all of us. It was a day of darkness, but it wasn't the end. By any means, it was not the end. On Easter Sunday, the stone was rolled away and the grave was empty. Christians everywhere rejoiced, and we continue to rejoice. Easter is one of the incredible days.
It is an incredible day. Erica Kirk was there. Here he is. This is the president. This is where it gets really funny. Listen to the president.
As we prepare to celebrate a thing called Happy Easter. Do we have that? Everyone happy?
Yeah,
anybody that doesn't want... Hello, darling.
Yeah,
wow, this is a good table. I like that table. You're doing well, right?
Talking to Erica Kirk here.
I think you should sue him, but, I told her, you ought to sue somebody. They're so jealous of Erica.
This is the Easter breakfast, by the way. Listen.
I said, you ought to sue their... I can say it. You're not allowed to say this. You have to be nicer. Sue their ass off.
There you go.
But I want to thank all of those who are helping us honor Holy Week here.
There you go.
Let me tell you. I hate to say this. There have been more wars over religion than trade and everything else.
Now religion's going to bring us together. The good ones, not the bad one, not the Sharia, not the Islamist. This is the line, man. This is the line, and this is why it's never going to be the same again after Donald Trump. You got to relish every moment that he's in office.
On Palm Sunday, Jesus entered Jerusalem as crowds welcomed him with praise, honoring him as king. They call me king now. Do you believe it? No king. I'm such a king, I can't get a ballroom approved.
There you go. Oh, my goodness.
Oh. It's pretty amazing, right? I'm a king. If I was a king, we'd be doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot, but I could be doing a lot more if I was a king.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you are the king, baby. You are the king. It's good to be the king. Here's a comedian talking about Donald Trump's sense of humor.
I can't stand Donald Trump. I cannot stand him.
Here's the crowd.
Drives me crazy. Because I have been doing this job for 14 years, and I will never be as funny as that motherfucker.
Yeah,
he is.
Never.
Like the Pearl Harbor thing, I'm like, how'd you come up with that on the fly like that, bro?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's an amazing thing to watch, and this is why the Democrats are so ugly about Donald Trump, is because they can't emulate him. They can't be him. They can't be as cool as him. They can't be doing the right things for the country. They're watching him do all of the things they could never do, and they just sit there and seethe in hatred. That's not a good place to be, particularly during Easter week. It's not a good look. It's not a good place to be. Blaine Holt, General Blaine Holt, joins us to talk about Donald Trump's speech last night and Operation Epic Fury on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. This fall, you're invited to experience Washington, D.C. in a truly unforgettable way with me, Rob Carson, and other Newsmax listeners. Imagine strolling through our nation's capital as America celebrates 250 years and seeing history come alive with an expert guide. Together, we'll tour the White House Visitor Center, step into the halls of democracy with a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol building, visit Arlington National Cemetery and the changing of the guard, stand in awe before the towering figure of President Abraham Lincoln, and take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. Our adventure includes premium hotel accommodations for 4 nights in the heart of D.C., in addition to 6 meals, ground transportation, guides, and gratuities. Space is limited, so don't wait. Visit travelwithrob.net to book your D.C. getaway today, or give our friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131 or travelwithrob.net. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. Winter is over. I'm putting away the layers, the vests, the tweed jackets, getting out the shorts and the light linen shirts. Quince.com is where I refresh my wardrobe and pare down the old, tired, lower quality stuff that I've held on for years. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen and their insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, breathable, comfortable, basically the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined, so you look put together without trying too hard. The best part is their prices are 50 to 60% less than similar brands. Quince works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Everything is designed to last and makes getting dressed easy. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now in Canada, quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
On Palm Sunday, Jesus entered Jerusalem as crowds welcomed him with praise, honoring him as king. They call me king now, do you believe it? No king. I'm such a king, I can't get a ballroom approved. It's pretty amazing, right? I'm a king. If I was a king, we'd be doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot, but I could be doing a lot more if I was a king.
I got to tell you, I had to play that again, General Blaine Holt. I had to play that line again because that is almost as good as the heads up on Pearl Harbor to the Prime Minister of Japan.
Well, that's got to be the best joke of the year for him.
I think. Swear.
He's going to live it up on that, but his comms are getting better and better and better.
We've never seen anything like it. We've never seen anything like this man. It is remarkable. He told Erica Kirk yesterday. She was there, and he goes, I'd sue their asses off, and then he goes back to he's talking about Easter. I think it's great. You know what? You never watch History of the World, Mel Brooks, and he goes, "It's good to be the king." Donald Trump is the king.
Yeah.
He is the king in more ways than you could ever even imagine. He's the king, man.
My dear friend, do you know how many eyeballs you just made bleed across this country?
I know. Last night he had a big speech. I want to play a little bit of his speech last night that we can talk about what's going on in Iran.
As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before.
Yeah. You as a career military man who made it to the rank of brigadier general, you got to be proud of what we're doing, man.
Yeah, and I'm proud of our military, but this is what happens when you take the world's best trained military and you let them do their job instead of little academics from Georgetown with suits who've never worn a stitch of clothing, certainly played with plastic soldiers at some point, and then they pontificate about what the next targeting set should be. And yes, I'm talking about Jake Sullivan.
Yes.
You don't micromanage the generals who actually spent their entire lives planning to give the president options. And when the president turns them loose and signs off on the rules of engagement, well, then that's what happens.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect example of how much better we can perform when the commander-in-chief will be the commander-in-chief, but not the micromanager-in-chief.
Let me ask you this, Blaine. I'm curious because we wiped out an unbelievably powerful military, certainly more powerful than the North Korean military in 1960, whatever. Certainly more powerful. I would put him right up there, certainly with Ukraine, and look at how long Russia has taken against Ukraine. I mean, what do you suppose the other, supposed military powerhouse of the world would do? How long would this campaign have taken if one of them decided to take on Iran?
I had the good fortune to be a part of some track 2 diplomatic talks with the Chinese military and their diplomats in New York about a decade ago, and one of the Chinese generals over dinner, he was looking at me and he said, you guys just piss us off. And I said, why? And he said, well, we spend all our lives reading about American doctrine. You guys write books on joint operations doctrine, combined operations, but then when you go to war, you never do what you write down.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is the American way. The war will be planned out by the crew that is in the seats at the time. Yes, we've got all this monster doctrine that is taught to some poor student at some war college, but we're very fluid, we're very dynamic, and we're very creative on the battlefield. And yes, we've got wonderful, amazing technology, but it's honestly the innovative spirit of the American serviceman and woman that makes that all come alive.
Yeah, I heard Pete Hegseth went and spoke to a bunch of airmen, and some of those airmen just happened to be women. And he asked this young woman who's a pilot of a fighter plane, "What do you need?" And she goes, "More bombs and make them bigger."
Right, some 50 millimeter while you're at it.
Oh, brother. Hey, did you see, by the way, off subject, you're obviously an aviator, the upgrade, the Warthog 2.0? Have you been following that at all? Because they've done some pretty. I thought they were mothballing that thing during the Biden administration, but they've upgraded this bad boy, and it's better than ever before.
They need to rename it from Warthog to Phoenix, because every time they try to kill it, it just keeps rising. It was look. I've been in love with that airplane ever since I saw it, and it was my number one choice out of pilot training. I missed it by one.
Really?
The student who graduated I graduated 6th in the class. He graduated 5. He got the A-10. I got the T-38, and I love my 38. It was great.
Yeah.
But man, there's nothing like a Warthog in the mud. It's a 4-wheel drive airplane with a big damn gun.
It's like a friggin' Hummer in the sky.
It is, and it could take a beating. I mean, it's a titanium bathtub around the pilot. It can get one of its verticals blown off, and it comes home.
Dude.
And you get the sheet metal kids out there, and it's up in the air in 48 hours.
You know what I'm going to consider this conversation? Testosterone replacement therapy. Thank you. I'm going to go to the gym after this. Holy hell, this is fantastic. I want to mention also, Artemis took off yesterday, the largest rocket, bigger than the Saturn V, which is pretty remarkable, about as tall as the Washington Monument. This rocket was bigger. They get into space, the toilet isn't working. So I don't know if they jiggled the handle. I don't know what the hell happened. But, obviously on what you piloted, wasn't it the C-17?
Luxurious bathroom. You go downstairs, past the galley, go on into the Blue Lagoon, and whatever you need to do.
Really? And obviously you were able to do that. And you had a co-pilot. How many other people? What complement did you have to fly that big bird?
So that monster can be flown, and several times we would on just 3 people. Loadmaster in the back, 2 pilots up front. It's really I'm a C-141 driver, the jet that the C-17 replaced, and it's everything we asked Santa Claus for. And then On long missions, we would supplement that an additional loadmaster, an additional pilot, sometimes some maintenance or security people. But minimum combat crew complement is 3 people. And
what is the longest time that you were in air for one mission? What was the longest time you were in air?
I think the longest sortie with a bunch of air refuelings was about 18 hours.
18 hours. That's not too bad, I guess. That's flying.
I had to deliver a team and a package of death to Afghanistan, direct nonstop.
Wow, that's fantastic. I got to tell you, we're going to take a break and I'm going to do some push-ups. I'm going to do some push-ups.
Right.
So we're going to come back.
I'll get my pull-ups out.
All right, please. We're going to talk a little bit more to General Blaine Holt on the other side of the break. Let's take a break now. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And it's very important.
FM in Harford County.
Here we go.
And it's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days.
Wow, unbelievable. A far cry from when Lloyd Austin was the Secretary of Defense and General Milley was more concerned about white privilege than doing battles. And we were running ads that featured a young girl and her two moms. Dear God, I'm just so glad we survived that, General Blaine Holt. How about you?
Oh, I'm so glad we survived it. We've still got some rebuilding to do on this. We've got to make sure that institutionally we can't be infiltrated like that again. And at some point down the road, I hope those leaders are held to account for the damage that they did to the national security apparatus.
It really was remarkable that happened. And also, by the way,
don't forget the vaccines. Don't forget those vaccines.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's a wrecking ball to the force.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. When they were going through that, you were still in when that happened, right?
No. I was
I didn't know.
Safely out.
Okay, all right. But what did that do? What did that do? I know a lot of people were driven out of the service. They've been invited back. I don't know how many have come back. I don't know why you'd want to be quite honest. But certainly Donald Trump being the president.
I'm going to be very blunt here. Pete's got more work to do on this. They need to actually stop the resistance in the service leadership and in the Defense Health Services to make an impediment for these people who want to come back or the people who need to be remunerated. They're wrapping them up in bureaucratic red tape. It's crap. It's just absolute crap. And I'll tell you what, during that period of time, there was a three-legged stool that was assaulting our magnificent brave force, and one of them was vaccines. One of them was the failure in Afghanistan, and basically just a middle finger for 20 years of our service, limb, lives, and treasure.
I know.
And then the third one was the DEI rail with the woke crap and getting rid of the warrior's ethos and the meritocracy. That did so much damage, and it's damage that's not cleaned up yet. And I would encourage our Secretary of War, you've got more people to fire. You've got more policies to take care of, and I'm really not interested in you going out and exonerating an Apache crew for a loss of flight discipline. I'd much rather you took care of those that were damaged during that period of time.
You know, a lot of the times and it was interesting, I went into Washington, D.C. on Sunday, expecting to see a bunch of woke tards, no Kings protesters. They cleared out on Saturday, and there was also, by the way, much bigger protest was pro-Trump and pro-Epic Fury, by the way. Yeah. But Sunday I drive in, and I'm expecting to see all these idiots, and I've got YMC ready to go on my 5,000-watt sound system in my Bronco. I'm ready to crank it as I drive by, and I'm down by, and I see this big stage set up at the Washington Monument, and I'm thinking, what is this going to be? And I roll down the window, and they're playing frickin' Freebird. They're playing Freebird. And
sign of life in the Republic.
Brother, it was so good. And then I saw all these Vietnam veterans hats. And I'm like, what's going on? Then I realized it was Vietnam Veterans Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
And I hope they do that for our brothers and sisters who fought for 20 damned years. From 9/11 to 9/11. I hope that there is for our millennial brothers and sisters, our Gen X brothers and sisters, even our Gen Zers who were involved in that conflict in some way, shape, or form, that they are memorialized, that they are remembered. For all of the bodies that were sent home draped in flags, and all of the people who came home with injuries, physical and emotional, I hope there is a day we can acknowledge all of them.
Yeah, and not service members who identify as llamas with purple hair. That's got to go. We need a warriors. Look, this is who we are as Americans.
I know.
And I remember my salute to the Vietnam vets with 3 other instructor pilots from Reith Air Force Base. I told you I got a T-38. At 3 o'clock in the morning, we're flying over the National Capitol Mall. This is in 1989 when you could do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Controller says, hey, would you like a tour of the mall? Yes, we would. And so we went up and down the mall with our fast, speedy jets, had a great time, landed in Andrews, jumped in a car, got to the Vietnam War Veterans Memorial, and the 4 of us raised a toast with a glass of a brown fluid to their honor.
God bless you. You know, one of the cooler aviation stories that I have is I was invited several years to when it was Andrews Air Force Base. There's a fleet of Huey helicopters that they maintain to evacuate, members of Congress and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about. I got to go on one of those Hueys right up the Potomac, go past the Kennedy Center, crank it, tilt hard left, come back. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Literally waving at the people on the bridge, and the people waving back.
It would have only been better if you'd had Creedence Clearwater Revival playing in the background as you were doing it.
Exactly where I was going, man. A Proud Mary, one or the other. Real quick, I've got about another minute and a half here. Let's talk about the progress in Iran and what is going on now. It sounds like we're devastating them now. We're just waylaying the snot out of them, and then we'll do some sort of cleanup, and then they'll pick up the pieces. What?
Yeah, we're going to go make it safe, and so we're going to enhance the capability of the Iranian people to take back their government. We're going to, whatever the third stringers or the fourth stringers, whatever's left, they need to join the free Iranian people and flip their loyalties. I think we're going to help encourage them with that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do something about securing Karg Island so that the Chinese don't get interested in coming to the Straits.
Yeah.
But again, our vital interests are served now. 3 weeks, we'll finish this up. And his warning to Europe, quite substantial, and I don't think people understand how serious the president is.
Well, yeah, and Europe, by the way, had a major sphincter tightening exercise when they launched a missile at Karg Island, and then on top of that, they had enough nuclear material for 10 or 11 nukes. So people in France and Great Britain went, holy hell, and they should. And Donald Trump laid at their feet. He said, here's the deal. We don't need our oil going through the Straits of Hormuz, so you get your butts over there and you get it figured out. And I am just so glad. Now he's talking about withdrawing from NATO. What do you think about that real quick?
Yeah. I think that's the right answer.
Boom.
I think our time and our mission in Europe are served. There is nothing. Look, it's become a self-looking ice cream cone. They won't even raise a finger when we need help.
Yep.
They were certainly happy for $350 billion of our dollars and a lot of our weapons going into Ukraine. It's not our war.
Nope.
And they won't follow President Trump's leadership. President Trump is the only one who has made any kind of diplomatic effort with the Ukraine war. A war that did not have to happen, was completely deterrable. Well, Europe, it's your war, and you won't even come down and open the straits for yourselves.
Yep.
So,
Yon Yon. Yon Yon, 2 words. Yon Yon. Yon Yon. You guys can suck it. We've had enough of bailing your rear ends out.
Enjoy that call to prayer.
Yes, exactly. All right, so that's going to wrap that up for General Blaine Holt. You got this great podcast called Dangerous Intellectuals. Tell everybody where they can find it.
DangerousIntellectuals.com. Please come and join. Listen to the Monday's episode. It's all about the gas in California, but Monday's episode coming up is Mitch Wexler on why you're getting ripped off in property taxes, and you better get active right now.
All right, I love it. Have a glorious week, my friend, and weekend. I apprate you very much. Happy Easter, by the way. A blessed Easter to you.
Happy Easter. Thank
right,
you,
let's
brother.
take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. That was a great conversation. That was a great conversation. Did you enjoy that as much as I did? Wow. Wow. Really, really fun. Hi, guys. Hi, Odan 7564. You're new here. Great to have you. Great guest. You said that. Bondi is out. Yeah, honestly, bye. I believed in her a little while, and then I said, you know what? No, not happening, man. Sorry, Barbie. Time for Barbie to go. Finally, time for Barbie to go. Gary Madden, Jeggery, what's going on? You guys are talking about A-10s are spreading the bacon in Iran. You guys are awesome. You guys are talking about the Moab, baby. Yeah, we dropped a few Moabs over there, too, by the way. The largest conventional bomb America makes, which is like a nuke. Did you see what happened to that? I don't know if it was a weapons depot or a manufacturing plant for missiles, but it happened a couple nights ago, and it's been incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, Apache helicopters were checking out the ghost bed at Kid Rock's house. That was pretty cool. By the way, Fort Campbell is near Kid Rock's house, and he's had he's talked to their pilots before, so anytime you guys want to fly by, you can. So those pilots being disciplined, that was bullcrap, and I thought that was kind of nice. But I am with the general on, what we have to do to make up to what the Biden administration did to our soldiers and all of that. That was awful. All right, I got to talk. All right, thank you. It is a Rob Carson Show. That was a fascinating conversation with Blaine Holt, dangerousintellectuals.com. I mean, that was just really fascinating, that conversation. It's on the podcast, by the way. After the show, we take all 3 hours and we post it on all of the your usual podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all of it. Just go to Rob Carson Show. But that was a really, 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 really fascinating conversation that you won't usually get with a former military air raid aviator, General Holt. Fascinating. Unbelievable. By the way, you guys understand, and you guys are talking about my ghost bed a lot. Because it's kind of, the ghost bed, the name is just kind of funny, right? But I got this ghost bed. It's called Ghost Bed. It's a company that's in America, by the way, in Florida. And the guy who created it was injured. He had a bunch of injuries and couldn't sleep. And so he created this thing called the Ghost Bed. And the Ghost Bed comes to you in a box. And you can get a number one of it. You can get the king size, you can get the queen size, you can get the adjustable base and all of that. But I got this queen mattress, and it's got kind of a pillow top, but it's not mushy. It's not soft. But I freaking love this thing. I posted on all my social media a picture of me in bed this morning, ladies. Me in bed, I know, imagine. You're going to Rob Carson Show and Rob Carson on all social media right now to see me in bed. I know, I don't blame you. But it's not terribly sexy. It's just me taking a picture of the window with the sunlight coming through the shades. And I never sleep to the sunlight. I haven't in years. And my ghost bed is amazing. I can't say enough about it. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson, ghostbed.com/Carson. 10% off the already low price, the spring savings. And look at my social media. I put up my ghost bed. I put up pictures of it, unwrapping it, the whole deal. And I just I could not have imagined how good a product this is. I could not have imagined how much I would look forward to going to bed. By myself even, my God. It's something else. I really love ghostbed.com/Carson. Coming up next hour, we've got a lot to get to, including Matt Gaetz saying that the government is breeding humans with space aliens. And, you're thinking, oh, that's freaking nuts. And then you hear from Tim Burchett, and Tim Burchett, without saying it's happening, says that it's happening. I know. You just wait. I know. Just wait. It's coming up. Also, some vote thievery, possibly in Florida in a special election that a Democrat won by 800 votes. One of the Democrat poll workers stole some equipment. So they're going to they better do another election. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
This
now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
He likes her, and he still wants her in the fold in some way, but the sense that we've gotten here over the last couple weeks is that something was happening at the top of the Justice Department, and for whatever it is that the administration has planned for the next couple months, as long as an acting attorney general can serve, he felt more comfortable with Todd Blanche being there. And so it's kind of a thanks for your service, Attorney General Bondi.
But don't let the door hit you on the way out. Wow, Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi out in the span of about a week. And then, of course, Kristi Noem's husband likes to dress up in women's clothes with large fake breasts. I know, it's just freaking weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. I was texting my friend Tony Kennett, because he's never been a fan of Pam Bondi, and he's on the air right now, and he said, yeah, goodbye. I don't know what it is. I mean, we waited a very long time, and we suffered a great deal over the last decade from the left, from being censored online to Donald Trump being persecuted for nothing, tried to throw him in jail, tried to take away his fortune, tried to take him off the ballot, all of this stuff. And then, of course, the massive fraud that's happening around the country. And by God, some people have to go to jail. And this means politicians are going to have to go to jail. Ilhan Omar needs to be denaturalized and deported. Bye. We're sick of this. We're sick of this. You know, when was the last time you saw a politician go to prison? I'm drawing a blank on the guy who had all the gold in his home, who's in prison right now, the Democrat. But honestly, when are people going to start going to jail? When is Nancy Pelosi going to be investigated for insider trading? When are all the members of Congress going to be invested for insider trading? When are they going to be investigated? When is the FBI going to be dismantled for going after Donald Trump and all of the things they did to not only his followers, but his associates and whatnot, and members of the Republican Party? When are people going to go to jail? When are people going to go to jail for what they did to the January the 6ers, putting them in jail for 4 years without a trial? When are they going to be put in jail? When is Tim Volz going to be removed from the governor's mansion in handcuffs? Dear God, we're not stupid, and we're just tired of this nonsense. So we'll see what happens with Todd Blanche. I like Todd Blanche, I mean, I don't know a lot about, what's going on there. I like Kash Patel. I think Kash Patel's doing a pretty good job. But we need to start seeing some damn perp walks and some people spending the rest of their damn lives in jail for corruption, for abuses and usurpations, the people who censored our speech. I mean, honestly, we're just done. We're done with it. We waited a very long time. We went through a hell of a lot during the 4 years that Joe Biden was president. We went through a hell of a lot during when COVID was here and our schools were shut down. When is somebody going to be held accountable for COVID? When is somebody be held accountable for, not telling us the truth about it? When are people going to go to jail for opening our southern border and hundreds of thousands of children and women being trafficked for sex and work? And when are some people going to jail for opening the southern border to fentanyl, which killed 100,000 plus people per year in America? When are they going to go to jail? It's going to have to happen. Tired of this nonsense. All right, there you go. I've said enough. Then there are other things that I want to get to this hour in the show. We're going to talk about the Birthright citizenship case closer to the hour. I wanted to save it for Doug Burns. Doug Burns is my go-to on things like this, and he's absolutely outstanding. So I want to get to that very shortly on the show. This is Nick Minock, by the way. He is of Northern Virginia. He's with us at this TV station called ABC7. And right now there's a governor in the state of Virginia who is a wretched harpy from hell who lied about who she was to become the governor. She has ushered in a communist Marxist regime that is bringing up, even though the state has a budget surplus, $2.3 billion, 70 new tax hikes, all sorts of restrictions on gun ownership that are unconstitutional, and then, of course, making it so local authorities cannot work with ICE agents. And under her tenure, now 3 illegal aliens who should not be in the country have committed murder.
Hey, it's Nick Minocqua, 7 News, sharing another sad story out of Fairfax County, Virginia. Yet another illegal immigrant was arrested for murdering someone. This man is accused of murdering his 3-month-old daughter. Police in Fairfax County have charged this man with second-degree murder and felony child abuse. My law enforcement sources tell me this man is in the country illegally. This is the 3rd murder in recent weeks in Fairfax County by illegal immigrants. You might recall reporting from Monday, the man accused of repeatedly stabbing a man with a machete on Sunday and killed that man is in the country illegally. And weeks ago, an illegal immigrant named Abdul Jallo allegedly killed a single mother at a bus stop in Fairfax County.
Stabbed her to death.
Was Stephanie Mentor. And Mentor's family has called on Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney Steve Descano, Sheriff Stacey Kincaid, Governor Abigail Spanberger, and Fairfax County Chair Jeff McKay to do more to keep residents in Fairfax County.
41-year-old mother gutted at the bus stop by a man who had been arrested 40 times. Fairfax police had told the county attorney, you've got to put this guy in jail. You've got to get him off the street. And what did he do? Shame on you. My God. I mean, my God. 16-year-old girl killed in Chicago. Police won't reveal information about a person of interest amid reports he is a Hispanic male. Beautiful 16-year-old girl gunned down in Glenview, Illinois on Saturday morning. Lily Bova, high school sophomore, was fatally shot, at an apartment complex where she lived with her older sister. This on the heels of the Loyola student who was murdered by an illegal in Chicago. Just so bloody done with this nonsense. Aren't you just tired of the left running roughshod over our country, doing what they're doing? And then, of course, they want illegals to have IDs. The Democrat Party cares more about illegals than they do you and me. That's true. That's all there is. They know to expect Democrat votes no matter what they do. Democrats will vote slavishly for Democrats, even though they want a voter ID, and 100% of Democrats on Capitol Hill don't want voter ID, even though 70% of Democrats do. 95% of Democrats don't want boys becoming girls to compete in girls' sports. 100% of Democrats on Capitol Hill want it. So they know you Democrats are going to vote for them. They just need the illegals to put them over the top and win the elections. Here's Brandon Gill talking about that.
Really clear what the Democrats are doing right now, because they're doing two things at the same time. On the one hand, they've defunded the Department of Homeland Security for the stated purpose of stopping the president from carrying out the immigration agenda that he was elected to do, which is to deport illegal aliens. At the same time, they're fighting against the Save America Act because they want those very same illegal aliens to be voting in American elections.
They do.
I don't know what other logical conclusion we can draw from the past couple months of Democrat idiocy other than that they want to systematically weaponize mass migration to flood our communities with illegal aliens in order to rig American elections.
100% it's that easy. I mean, duh. And you know why I know that? Because I'm not stupid. That was one of the expressions I came up with, around 2020. I said, the reason why I know that a paper mask is going to stop the COVID virus, because I'm not stupid. You know why I know that standing 6 feet away from somebody versus 5 feet away isn't going to keep me from getting the COVID virus? Because I'm not stupid. You know why I know Joe Biden had dementia? Because I'm not stupid. You know why I knew that Russia collusion was a hoax? Because I'm not stupid. You know why I knew Hunter Biden's laptop was real? Because I'm not stupid. Honestly, and it's just a shame we don't have journalism in this country that has enough journalistic curiosity to pursue the biggest stories you've ever seen, ever seen. But they're so devoted to their orthodoxy that they will forsake journalism. Why do you even become a journalist if all you're going to do is just take the propaganda that you're fed as pablum? I mean, honestly, why are you a journalist? You don't have integrity. Why is Jake Tapper still a journalist for not having the it wasn't even, it was just avoidance. It was just covering up Joe Biden's dementia until it was so obvious it couldn't be covered up anymore. It's just ridiculous. This is J.D. Vance talking about voter fraud in this country that Democrats say isn't happening.
You'll have some Democrat on TV who will say, well, we don't have to worry about that because illegal immigrants voting in our elections is very rare. Well, number one, how about we put it to zero?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Even if you're right.
Yeah.
Number two, you're not right. It happens way more often than a lot of people appreciate. In fact, just this week, ICE arrested an illegal immigrant. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
An illegal immigrant from Mauritania who's voted in 7 federal elections since 2008. And I have it on good authority that in every single election he voted for Don Davis. No, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know where he voted. But
it's happening all over the place. California voter fraudster sentenced after investigation found 71 voter names registered to his address. Former Lodi Councilman Shakir Khan was sentenced Monday to 3 years in county jail after election integrity advocate and database error. Sheriffs discovered 41 sealed and completed mail-in ballots when searching his home, and Maloney discovered 71 names registered to Khan's address. This is happening all over the country. Benny Johnson exposed it. In California, 100 names to a parking lot with an outhouse. I mean, it's happening. But in California, they don't investigate it. They do not investigate voter fraud. It is state policy not to investigate voter fraud. And it's happening. So please. And by the way, majority of Republicans and Democrats and swing voters agree the Democrat Party wants open voters, according to a poll of 2009 registered voters by Harvard Harris. 51% of Democrats, 63% of Republicans, 52% of independents and others agree. The Democrat Party wants open borders with the rest of the world. They want to destroy the country. This is why they're doing a death spiral into hell. And we're going to win. We're going to win this. You have to have faith. You have to have faith, and you got to have a warrior ethos, and you've got to overwhelm them with faith, with joy, and with patriotism. Let Donald Trump handle the butt kicking, all right? That's what we got to do. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Action. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
So let me get this straight. For January 6th, not a single person was charged or convicted under the federal crime of insurrection. Not one. But now, Virginia's House Bill 333 wants teachers to stand in front of kids and present it as an insurrection like it's an unquestionable fact. Hello? So in court, where facts actually matter, they didn't use that charge. But in classrooms, where kids are learning how to think, now it's mandatory language. Make that make sense, because if something can't be proven in a courtroom, why is it being required in a classroom?
It's propaganda. It's Soviet. It's Soviet. That's what's happening in the state of Virginia. And if this isn't turned around, I'm going to move. I'm going to move out of the state. I really hate it. I chose Virginia over Maryland because Maryland's just awful. Awful. Fortunately, the governor of Maryland is now underwater polling. Maryland is beyond crooked, corrupt. I'm looking for Nick Shirley to go to Maryland. I'm sure he's going to find all sorts of ungodly corruption, voter fraud, the whole deal, the same stuff that's going on around the country. And it's but it's come to Virginia, and that they're going to teach in the schools, force teachers to say January the 6th was an insurrection, even though Newsweek itself and the FBI said it was not an insurrection. There was no insurrection. It is utterly disgusting and filthy and foul, and I would pull my kid out of the damn schools, honestly. And they're losing a lot of students in places like Fairfax County with this woke nonsense and now pure propaganda. It's unbelievable. Here's some good news. This is a mom in Baltimore. Her son has a drinking problem. Her son's 30 years old. She goes back to this place where her son was drunk and stole the tip jar. And she put her son in treatment, and she went to the shop owner and did this.
A little while ago, a young man came to your stand and took
the
tip jar. I'm his mother. How much did he take from you?
How much
did he take? Something I couldn't pay attention, like
what do you think he took from you?
I see the first, I couldn't see the second is...
How much do you think he took from you?
About $30, I think. But you don't need to pay.
No, I'm going to pay it.
Wow.
Because my son wasn't raised like that.
Why he is doing that? I don't want to ask, but...
No. Listen to me. My son wasn't raised like that. My son drinks, and when he drinks, he does stupid stuff. I want to pay you back because you don't deserve to be stolen from.
I love it. That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. I'm sorry for her with her son's behavior. It must be very difficult. Must be very difficult. All right, I promise you were going to talk about Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz was on with Benny Johnson, says that the United States, I know, sit down, it's like Alex Jones kind of stuff, breeding humans with space aliens, which explains Rose DeLauro.
I think the most important information will be the biologics.
And Adam Schiff.
That are not human, that have been discovered. And like even some of the briefings that aren't classified just need to be out in the public. I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
What? Here's Tim Burchett talking to Rob Finnery last night on Newsmax.
I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that. Because
you better sit down for this.
Because you are connected, you're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said.
Okay.
But I will say this.
So wait, seriously? Are you being serious?
I'm being 100% serious. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it.
What?
Well, I was briefed.
Kennedy is without. It doesn't have any words.
I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued. I think if they would have heard all that I heard.
Are you kidding me?
They would demand answers, and we need to. But it's never going to get. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks.
What?
I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman. We will have you back.
You should be. And I told the president, release it all. And the problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out.
I don't even know what to say. You ever see National Treasure, the second one, when they went into the Library of Congress and there was the book? I wonder if it's there, the Book of Secrets. Alex Jones was right. Weird. When the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Fast forward today, the U.S. dollar has lost 85% of its purchasing power. Gold has now gone up 12,000%. Printing money has killed your buying power, but gold is why central banks are buying it, why firms like Vanguard and BlackRock are buying it, because it's precious. Right now, you got to learn. It starts with education. Burst Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase. Get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you earn, but you got to act now because it ends April 30th. The dollar lost its anchor in 1971. You don't have to lose yours. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April the 30th. Do this now, okay? They're still printing money. We're $40 trillion in debt, for goodness sake. Text Rob to 989898. Doug Burns to talk about the Birthright citizen case before the Supreme Court on the other side of the break. His will be the definitive opinion you want to hear. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. Winter is over. I'm putting away the layers, the vests, the tweed jackets, getting out the shorts and the light linen shirts. Quince.com is where I refresh my wardrobe and pare down the old, tired, lower quality stuff that I've held on for years. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen and their insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, breathable, comfortable, basically the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined, so you look put together without trying too hard. The best part is the prices are 50 to 60% less than similar brands. Quince works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Everything is designed to last and makes getting dressed easy. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now in Canada, quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. This fall, you're invited to experience Washington, D.C. in a truly unforgettable way with me, Rob Carson, and other Newsmax listeners. Imagine strolling through our nation's capital as America celebrates 250 years and seeing history come alive with an expert guide. Together, we'll tour the White House Visitor Center, step into the halls of democracy with a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol building, visit Arlington National Cemetery and the changing of the guard, stand in awe before the towering figure of President Abraham Lincoln, and take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. Our adventure includes premium hotel accommodations for 4 nights in the heart of D.C., in addition to 6 meals, ground transportation guides, and gratuities. Space is limited, so don't wait. Visit travelwithrob.net to book your D.C. getaway today, or give our friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131 or travelwithrob.net. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
Clarence Thomas, actually, he threw a wrench in everything and made, I think, the most salient point that I hadn't even thought of, which is, does the 14th Amendment even apply at all to illegal immigration?
How much of the debates around the 14th Amendment had anything to do with immigration?
This is why I love Clarence Thomas, because he always, without fail, interprets the Constitution with the intent as it was written at the time. And I was like, when he said that, I was like, wow, how many people were illegally immigrating to the United States after the Civil War?
Zero.
And John Sauer had potentially the best answer of the day regarding this issue.
There is a general principle that's a broad principle that's adopted in the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof, and we submit that our theory of allegiance and domicile-based allegiance, what explains those specific exceptions that everybody was aware of, but it is broad enough to sweep in future situations. And as you pointed out, illegal immigration did not exist then. Now, the problem of temporary visitors did exist, and it's very interesting that as you look at pages 26 and 28 of our brief, commentators going from 1881 until 1922 are uniformly saying the children of temporary visitors are not included.
Okay, so we got a lot to unpack, and there's nobody who I would rather unpack them with than Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. Doug, welcome to the show, man. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
So I see this piece from Amy, how Supreme Court appears likely to side against Trump on birthright citizenship. What do you think about this? I mean, it's obvious it's terribly destructive to the country. We've got countries like China who are taking advantage of it to our destruction. Doug, what do you think about this?
Classic case of unintended consequences developing. So first, let me move away from the offspring of two people who entered illegally and talk about this business of people flying into the U.S., having a child in the U.S., for a couple of days and then leaving, and the child's a U.S. citizen. Apparently, and I only heard this, I haven't confirmed it myself, but there are hundreds of companies, Rob, that are engaged in exactly that. And that came up yesterday, but that's not the main focus. The main focus, obviously, is this question of the offspring of two people who are here illegally in violation of law. Now, there's no debate whatsoever that when the 14th Amendment was put in, after the Civil War, 1868, it was because of the horrific Dred Scott decision, which held that African Americans were not citizens of the United States. Shockingly, it's regarded, not surprisingly, as one of the, if not the worst Supreme Court opinions. And so they put that in to make sure that the children of slaves and African Americans were citizens. It had nothing, zero, to do with this question that we face today. But what I find to be the irony of ironies, and I think you'll like this, is that, the great Justice Antonin Scalia, he believes in textualism. You just looked at the words, and he was ripped for decades by everybody, all the elite academic eggheads. Oh, no, you have to look at the context, the background. Now, when it suits them, their position is, look at the words, and that's it. All of a sudden, they're big Antonin Scalia disciples. Contest. It's just breathtaking, right?
Unbelievable. This is a quote from Ketanji Brown Jackson, apparently trying to make a point and having it backfire. I'd love to hear you dissect it after I play it.
What do we do with, that's a debate, and it's a discussion, very valid, but then we have a subsequent debate between Fessenden and Wade, where the same concept comes up, and it becomes clear, at least from Senator Wade's perspective, that that's wrong. So Fessenden, and I'm not sure whether these are senators, I apologize. Fessenden says, suppose a person is born here of parents from abroad temporarily in this country. Wade responds, the senator says a person may be born here and not be a citizen. I know that is so in one instance, in the case of the children of foreign ministers who reside near the United States, et cetera, et cetera. So it appears as though in that exchange, at least Senator Wade believed that the English common law understanding of what it means to have allegiance, to be a temporary person on the soil, was what was being adopted.
Yeah, that exchange strongly supports us. If you look at it in context, Senator Wade has introduced a version that says only birth on U.S. soil. And
there you go. That is the Sauer basically saying that, well, you just made my point there, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Go ahead.
He read my mind, because I was going to say that is that's a poster for the argument that can be made in favor of eradicating birthright citizenship. First of all, I think your vast audience will find it very interesting to debunk some stuff that you see on liberal media where they turn around. If you're born here, you're a citizen, that's it. That's completely wrong, incorrect. So let me explain. The children born here of 2 foreign diplomats are not, repeat, not
Yes.
U.S. citizens.
Yes.
The children of people who are here in an invasion against the United States, not citizens, and all of that is in federal law. So the point is, the most important thing that was discussed yesterday, and you've already sort of tangentially touched on it, is, can federal law now be expanded with this children of diplomats point, children of invaders point?
Yeah.
Can it be expanded to include children of 2 people who entered illegally? My answer is yes.
Well, of course. I mean,
of course, Congress could do that easily, all right? And so I thought it was very interesting and somewhat disingenuous when the lawyer, for birthright citizenship, arguing for birthright citizenship, said the 14th Amendment, it's clear that it's exclusive and there can't be any further exceptions. I totally disagree with that 100%.
How do you suppose the Supreme Court is leaning? It sounded like Clarence Thomas made some brilliant points yesterday, but I'm seeing a few legal experts who feel like Donald Trump's executive order is going to be overturned. What is your gut telling you?
Well, it's apples and oranges. There's 2 different discussions under my analysis. So, first of all, I don't think, believe it or not, that the executive order is the way to do it. I just said a minute ago that Congress would be the vehicle to do it. So I think that the court is going to say a little crystal ball stuff, that the executive order wasn't the way to go. But they're not going to be that negative. They're going to turn around, and I think you've used the word punt, the football analogy, many, many times in our discussions. And I think they are going to punt the football down the field a little bit and make it sound as though I'm hoping that they're going to say Congress can clearly add to federal law that the offspring of 2 illegal aliens are not citizens. And that'll be phenomenal if that happens, because that will also essentially stand for the proposition that it's perfectly okay to say that the offspring of 2 people who broke the law to come here, it's perfectly viable to pass laws that say they're not citizens. And
so it's essentially the same thing that happened with the tariff thing.
Exactly. No, it's the same exact thing. And you're spot on. But the point is, I do not think, a little doom and gloom, I don't think they're going to say, we specifically hold now that the offspring of 2 people who broke the law to come here are not citizens. They're just not going to do that because they don't need to reach that. The other point real quick is that Wong Kim Ark case that everybody throws around, I read that quite a while ago. Haven't studied it that closely recently, but I never felt that it really was squarely on point, as lawyers say, and that it stood for any great proposition about birthright citizenship per se. In that case, real quick, without getting in the weeds, the individual was born here to Chinese nationals who were living in San Francisco, and then they went back to China, and when he tried to re-enter the U.S., there was a controversy about it. But again, I don't think the Supreme Court's so wedded to that Wong Kim Ark case. But again, broken record, I think they're going to turn around and say that the 14th Amendment does allow for further congressional action on this, and that's exactly where it should be done.
Yeah, and of course, Democrats in Congress will say no.
Of course, no. It's going to be. It's not any guarantee whatsoever that it will happen. But at the same time, for the Supreme Court of the United States to say, hey, there are vehicles and avenues and mechanisms under which it can be declared under United States federal law that the offspring of 2 people who broke the law to come here are not citizens. That's a victory.
All right. Let's take a break and come back more with Doug Burns on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
in Harford County.
Well, that was the second great question, whether the president could sit absolutely silently as an argument went on that he felt strongly about. So we answered that question. He was able to do that, but it must have been hard at points because I'm sure some of these questions were maddening.
Yeah.
The fact is the policy is maddening. It's perfectly insane. That's why very few countries accept birthright citizenship. And so the difficulty with this case is that it's hard to really justify the policy when you look at what's happening with, in China alone, hundreds of these tourism sites are sending people over for the sole purpose of having children here. Only a moronic nation would allow that type of industry to flourish. None of our allies do in Europe.
Yeah, that is Jonathan Turley. I appreciate his opinion. Not as much as I do of Doug Burns. Thank you very much. That's why I waited through the entire show to approach this topic, because I knew you'd have the final word on it, my brother.
I appreciate that. Look, Professor Turley, very smart. I go to school, off of him many times.
Yeah.
And he's right, though, and that's why it was interesting. That's why I sort of started with the tourism point, because, again, to have hundreds of companies develop and having people just fly in, have the child born here, it's just crazy.
What about an executive order regarding that? What about an executive order regarding that?
No, you read my mind. My next sentence out of my mouth was, well, wait a minute. To avoid this whole controversy about immigration where everybody's just red in the face, ripping mad, just calmly put something in saying no more birther tourism.
There you go. 100%. I mean, listen, if you are, and it should be fairly easy to figure out, the reason why your facility exists is not to provide health care, but to facilitate the birth of a child from two foreign nationals to become a citizen of America, you could shut that crap down.
Absolutely, 100%.
Boom.
And
Boom.
they really should clear up that birther thing. But I'll tell you what, not to get melodramatic, it's going to be fascinating for me and you and everybody else to see what this opinion looks like, honestly.
Yeah. Pam Bondi got fired today. The rumor is that she may have tipped Eric Swalwell off to opening an investigation of him, getting a little chitty fang on the side. What do you know?
Yeah, I heard about that. But I'll tell you, I have my two reasons why she's gone. One, the Epstein thing was just a big blunder.
Yeah.
You and I have discussed it many times. For them to come out, it was interesting because people have to understand that what happened is that they alienated part of Trump's base because, the base did not want to hear, he killed himself, that's it, have a nice day.
Yeah.
That's crazy because there are serious questions.
Yes.
And not to be immodest, I've read 5 books about Epstein. I know the case pretty well, and the fact of the matter is you could have major league discussions on this question of whether he killed himself. Major forensic scientists, Michael Baden, Cyril Wecht, all said that the way the bones were broken in his neck, the way the lividity was, and I'm not a physician, all could have easily been more consistent with homicide than suicide.
Yep.
And then also there are a couple of Sherlock Holmes points, which is his bail situation had not been finally resolved, and he would have become Roman Polanski and Mark Rich so fast your head would have been spinning. In 5 minutes, he would have been out of here. So I don't believe he killed himself, Rob.
I know. I 1,000%. I also don't think. I also think there were people involved in the Butler shooting because nobody lets a man get in the most prone position who was already on the federal radar, who literally was training at the same damn gun range as the Secret Service. Give me a freaking break. But how much about just what about her lack of indictments? With all of the bull crap that's happened. When are we going to start seeing some people in government going to damn jail? When are we going to see Ilhan Omar denaturalized and deported? That's a big deal to me.
Yeah, I had an A and a B. A was Epstein, and then B, of course, was his legitimate frustration with the failure to prosecute successfully Comey, Letitia James, Shifty
Yeah.
Schiff and all
Yeah.
of the rest of them.
Yeah.
And it's like a football coach. In other words, I've heard some pundits, I haven't been watching liberal media today, truth be told, but I've heard some pundits, even on some of the conservative networks, saying, that's not really her fault. But I don't buy that, because a football coach gets fired if the team loses.
Well, what do you think about Blanche? What do you think about Zeldin?
I like Lee Zeldin. I mean, I don't know him that well. I met him a couple times very early on when he was running for Congress. Went to a very small fundraiser, like 20, 30 people. I got a chance to meet and interact with him. I'm told that he's done a good job at the EPA.
He is.
Believes in
He's doing a great job.
streamlining things, keeping things moving. The one knock, I suppose, is he doesn't have a lot of federal criminal law background, but I don't think that's a big impediment. Todd Blanche would actually be good.
I like Blanche, dude. I like Blanche.
Maybe even better. I think better, Rob.
Maybe in the interim they'll decide to keep him. I hope so. I like Blanche.
I hope so. I think that would be a smarter move,
Oh.
truth be told, because Todd Blanche knows his way around the federal stuff, Rob.
All right. My brother, I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a blessed Easter holiday, my friend.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Rob. You too.
All right, God bless you. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I don't want to make this a big deal because I'm trying to digest it. Yesterday I went into the doctor and had my PSA test. It was high. Did an exam, found a little bump, and I'm going in to get an MRI next week, a blood test today. So it's a little frightening. I'm not afraid, though. I'm not afraid. Yesterday when I drove back from the doctor, I wasn't afraid, and I think God is doing this. I think there's a reason why this showed up in my dry cleaning. So the great thing is I was told you should get a blood test. That just came out of nowhere. I got a blood test done, and I found that my PSA was high. Then I went to the doctor and found this. I wasn't going to know about this. So I'm asking you for your prayers, but I'm optimistic because I'm ahead of this. I know about it, and now I can fight. So I know many of you have been through this, and if you're a man who's been through this, I'd love to hear your thoughts. But I am a warrior, and I love God, and I love you guys. And so I'm grateful to God for knowing. I'm grateful to God for knowing. Now I formulate a battle plan. Now I got to learn more to find out what's going on, and then I fight. So I hope you will join me in this fight. That's all I want to say about it today, okay? Otherwise, you streamers know this, okay? Just you guys. All right. This is pretty funny. Glenn Beck, when he first got on the air, he did a lot of funny on his show. He did a lot of what I do because he comes from a music background, and he's kind of faded away from that. Yesterday, his producers came up with a great piece of original satire. It's not a parody of a song, but he came up with this. It's just really good. I'm going to play a little bit of it. It's called Bang Bang Fang Fang about Eric Swalwell, and it's great.
Don't bang bang. Fang, fang, fang. Don't bang bang. Swalwell don't want the files to drop, cause he went bang bang with bang bang. Hey, don't bang bang, bang bang. Hey, don't bang bang, bang bang. The case is closed, he screams and shouts, but we all know he went bang bang with bang bang.
This is just good.
He chased Russia ghosts from dawn until dusk, screaming collusion louder than anyone else, while Fang Fang bundled checks with that sweet CCCP smile.
Wow.
Pressed an intern close, stayed for a while on the intel committee, guarding secrets so tight, but his own honey trap was working overtime at night. Now Cash wants the receipts, the text, and the pics. Eric's yelling nonsense while sweating like bricks. So bang bang, bang bang, don't
Allegedly.
bang, bang. Swalwell don't want files to drop, cause he went bang, bang with bang, bang.
That's just brilliant. That's just brilliant. That's an original song. It's not a parody of a song. That's just brilliant stuff. I'm so glad that Glenn came back to satire yesterday. He's really good at it. He and Stu are just great at it. That's I was when I hear a show, I'm like, he got so serious, and all this. But I have a great, resounding respect for the genius of Glenn Beck. 1,000%. He was at the launch of the Artemis yesterday. It was pretty cool. Hey, this fall, we're doing this trip to D.C. I was asked where you want to go with your listeners, and they offered me, Cruise and Travel said, we could go to D.C. You really don't want to go? And I said, oh, hell yes, I want you to come here. So what I would like you to do is investigate this. I just downloaded the brochure. I just went to visit travelwithrob.net, and saw the presentation that they've got, Cruise and Tour. It's freaking world class. I mean, it's like world class. This is a trip of a lifetime kind of stuff. It's not too expensive, by the way. But it's just going to be beautiful. It's going to be tours of the White House Visitor Center, the U.S. Capitol Building, going to go to Arlington, see the changing of the guard, going to go to the Lincoln Memorial, going to go to all of the war memorials. We're going to go to the National Mall, the museums. We're going to have unbelievable dinners, 6 meals, ground transportation, guides, gratuity. Space is limited. Don't wait. It's October 25th through the 29th, 5 days and 4 nights. I'm taking the time off to be with you. So I can't wait. I really can't wait to see you guys. So travelwithrob.net. You could fly in from around the country. You could drive in. You could take the train down from Philly or from New Hampshire or in from Baltimore or whatever. Just drive in. But travelwithrob.net. Travelwithrob.net is the name of the website you need to go. Or 800-383-3131. 800-383-3131. This is Easter week. Somebody just texted or said on the chat, the bunny is dead. Jesus is back. God bless the bunny, but Jesus is what it's all about. God bless you, American has found it. Donald Trump is what he's doing for this country. Our soldiers in harm's way. And until tomorrow, which by the grace of God is Good Friday, don't catch the stupid. Thank you.
All right. Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.